This is the Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. How's everybody doing? Hope all is well for all my listeners. I think I'm all good to go as far as audio, so let me know if you have issues with the audio. I think it's the last one sounded pretty good to me. I wanted to talk about a recent school shooting in the Philippines, which is, yeah, I know in the States it, happens more often than not, sadly. But it is kind of rare here. And I talked about the person at the toy gun at the restaurant a little while ago, and I kind of mentioned just how it's kind of different here, which is not a bad thing, but stuff like this, it may prove to start happening a little more frequently. Hopefully not, but it's in the States, businesses and schools, they do active shooter drills and training and how to respond, and here they don't, and it's obvious in the video I'm going to show. But I mean, that's, it's not their fault. It's just, it's a different culture, it's a different world almost, so but let's get into it. Let me switch over. So here's the Daily Tribune, which is the Filipino Tribune. I'm trying to, focus on Filipino stories a little bit more. So this one is one of them. So here we go. 3 students killed, 5 wounded in Tacloban school shooting. I mean, there's some shootings here and there. I talked about the like government officials and whatever they've gotten, but as far as schools, there was something a little while ago, I want to say, but it was a couple of years ago, I think. So this is, anyway, 3 students were killed while 5 others were wounded in a shooting incident inside San Jose National High School on Monday morning. Initial report from Police Station 1 of the Tacloban City Police Office said authorities received a call regarding the shooting shortly after 9 a.m. Police identified 2 suspects, both minors, one of them 15, grade 9 student, was arrested inside the school premises. Second suspect initially escaped but was later taken into custody after reportedly expressing through the 911 emergency hotline his intention to surrender. Tacloban City Police Office Chief Colonel Noel Gedigan said one of the suspects admitted that he had been subjected to constant bullying in school. Now, I know bullying is kind of a big thing here in the Philippines. Like, people get bullied a lot. People get bullied. I got bullied. But I think in the States it's kind of tapered down a little bit, at least from what I could tell. Not that it doesn't exist, but then coming here, it's like they're a little behind, as far as the States is, trying to curb the bullying. But anyway, however, Gedigan stressed that all circumstances surrounding the incident remain under investigation. Video circulating online showed scenes of panic inside the campus, with students screaming and crying as gunshots rang out. In one clip, terrified students could be heard repeatedly shouting, "Mama, Mama," while seeking safety. Department of Education Regional Office 8 expressed deep concern over the incident and its impact on learners, school personnel, and families. In a statement, Regional Director, "So I'm not even going to try." Deputy immediately coordinated with the Philippine National Police and school officials to ensure the safety and security of everyone on campus. The agency also worked with the Department of Social Welfare and Department and other partner agencies to provide assistance and psychosocial support to affected students and personnel. While the investigation remains ongoing, urge the public to refrain from spreading unverified information and to rely on official statements from authorized agencies. The safety, security, and well-being of our leaders and personnel remain our highest priority. DepEd is committed to providing necessary support to the affected community and working closely with the partners. Statement read. And so that's kind of it. Okay. Yeah, pretty much a I don't know, kind of see what comes out further, because I don't know, to me, Philippine journalists and news media are not the greatest at following up on stuff.
I know.
So I'm curious to see how this plays out. But yeah, so here's I'm gonna play the video that somebody was on. I don't know why I switched it, but this was on X. So let's hear. Oh, this is gonna be loud, huh? Oh no, it's halfway. All right, here we go. That's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. But that's a thing that I don't know, like I'm trying to be like nice and not be a dick. But one thing I've noticed here with like Filipinos is like being at the mall or whatever, and then the power will go out, power surge or something, and just everybody's like, they start screaming.
What the fuck?
You know, and it's just like, it's just the power. Relax, people. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of so when something like this, which, hey, man, that's a scary, situation. So, I mean, and again, this is not any fault on them, but these are things that they kind of teach you. And I guess myself being exposed to this training and then giving this training, that screaming like that is like the last thing you want to do. You want to shut the door, block the windows, get out of view, and be absolutely quiet, and barricade the door. So them screaming every time and yelling doesn't help. And then it's kind of hard to tell. It kind of looks like, so I think the door was being blocked. I don't know if it was by people or what, and maybe the shooter was trying to get in, and then he shot, and then I think he wounded the individual there. At first, I thought the guy was like opening the door to look and see, and I'm just like, oh no, what are you doing? But those are all things that, getting the proper training can help. But hopefully, I mean, this is a pretty, it's rare. It's very rare here compared to the States, but the thing is, you can't wait until it's not rare before you start implementing, contingency plans in the training. You gotta try and like, okay, well, before this happens or gets any worse, let's try and nip it in the butt, right? Get the training, so then when somebody tries to do this again, they completely fail, and it doesn't inspire anybody. They got to do it. It sucks, but you got to, man. You can't wait. You can't wait for a crisis to respond. You need to try and be a little more. You want to be proactive and create planning and training before the stuff gets crazy, instead of reacting to it. And that's kind of easier said than done, because I mean, to be proactive, you could, okay, well, let's figure out what we're gonna do if aliens come down or whatever. I got a feeling that it might start kind of happening more and more. People get inspired, kids get inspired because of stuff. And then, yeah, a lot of people are, let's see, reports are saying 15-year-old, yeah, this is blah, blah, blah. There was something where it's like, yeah, Philippines importing enriched white American culture.
You're gonna cry? You're gonna cry, titty baby? Huh? You're gonna fucking cry?
I mean, that's kind of a dumb way to say it, but they're not wrong, and it's not white, it's just American for one thing. But people are going to do violence regardless. Look at what happens in England and everything. People just use acid, use knives, use you know, yes, America has a lot of violent incidences involving guns because, yes, we have a lot of guns in the country. Lots of people own guns and they, but those people would still find another way if it wasn't for the gun. So you're not going to stop violence by getting rid of guns unless you magically get rid of every single gun in the world and the whole, black powder and designs to, you know what I mean? It's just not possible.
I totally agree with you.
Mental health and learning how to see the signs and, try and curb bullying and how to effectively react to something like that is the best thing you can do. But like I said, I'm trying to be a little more active with like my local news and everything, especially, stuff that kind of maybe might be interesting for, the rest of the world. Because I got some listeners that are, it's mainly in the States. Like, well, 50% is in the States, 13 is in Europe, 23 is in Asia. Actually, it's kind of changed a little bit. And I do talk about some stuff, but I don't really talk too much about like headlines and news. It's, I'm talking about my personal experiences. But a lot of it is like terms and agencies and stuff. I don't know what it means.
You dumb fuck!
Like over here, everything's like metric, right? Someone tells me, hey, I weigh 200 pounds. I'm like, oh, okay. I know what that means. But when somebody says, hey, I weigh 88 kilos or something like that, I don't know what that means. I don't know how to, and it's kind of the same thing with a lot of the interagency departments and all this stuff. They like, read something and it's like, I don't know. It doesn't click with me what it is. And, so it's hard for me to kind of get invested with like headlines and stuff here. So,
Because you're the pussy boy.
but it's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get, I guess, right? And then I was going to show this happened and this kind of, I want to
Today, Joe.
answer. I had a lot of family and friends that were like, oh my gosh, are you okay? When that earthquake hit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Like, people don't realize how big the Philippines is. Like, they think it's just like one little island or something. I used to do the same thing whenever stuff would happen. When I was married to my wife and you hear something, I'd be like, oh my gosh, is your family good? And she's like, yeah, they're fine. It's like, all right. So I get it. But so here, this is Tacloban, probably saying that wrong. So I apologize. So this is where the shooting happened, right? And let's scroll out a little bit. So we'll scroll out. All right, there we go. So this is the Philippines. All of this right here. So this is where that happened. And I'm up here in the northern Luzon, like the northern part of northern Luzon. So this is the main island where Manila is and everything. So I'm way up north there. So it's pretty damn far from me. And the earthquake was not too far from this area too, I want to say. So yeah, it's not like, oh, I felt a little shaking. No, we get our own earthquakes, so I didn't feel that one. And generally, violent stuff seems to happen more in the southern part of the Philippines, mainly down here. But like these outer lower parts is kind of where the Islamic individuals are, and they, there's violence towards, Christian Catholic churches and stuff like that. And I've talked about before, you have the Republicans or the what's it called? It's the communist groups. They were kind of prevalent back in the day, and they're still around, but they're not really an issue as much as, some of the Islamic aggressors. Trying to look, I can't see. But yeah, so like down south is where a lot of the stuff kind of seems, more of the stuff as far as like violence happens. There was that American, you know what, man, I forgot about that until just now. There was an American that was kidnapped down south. The last thing I remember is he got shot in the leg, and most likely he probably died. He was married, I think, to a woman, but he had a little TikTok channel, and he was kind of saying some stuff
Why the fuck would I blow up Chick-fil-A? It's fucking
and kind of causing problems for himself. But this is like way down south, so it's kind of a little more risky down there, you know. But it's no different than, you know, Detroit or Chicago. You know, there's a lot more violent interactions there than, you know, in other places in the state. So I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's, you know, it's not as crazy as people think. But anyway, and that is it. So I just wanted to talk about the shooting and plus again, you know, do another test on the audio. Let me know how the audio works for you, if it's good or not. And if you got any questions, let me know. All right. I appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out, and God bless. All right. Bye.
Until rain, through the dust and setting sun, there were many brave souls on that lonely fob, but none fought like the one.